The emergency beacon from the Kythera refugee ship had been broadcasting for 6 standard days when the human vessel Mercy's Hand dropped out of hyperspace at the edge of the neutral zone. Captain Elena Vasquez stood on her bridge, staring at the massive alien ship listing badly in the void, its hull breached in dozens of places. "Ma'am," her communications officer called out, "we're receiving multiple warnings from the Galactic Council. They're ordering all vessels to maintain distance. The Kythera are classified as a quarantined species." Elena's jaw tightened. The Kythera plague had swept through 17 systems before the Council had acted, declaring the entire species a biological hazard and sealing them off from the rest of galactic civilization. It had been 3 years since any ship had been allowed contact with Kythera vessels. Captain, her medical officer, Dr. James Park, approached with a tablet in hand. "I've been reviewing the data on the Kythera condition. The plague isn't contagious to non-Kythera species. It's a genetic disorder specific to their DNA structure. The quarantine is—" He paused, choosing his words carefully, "medically unnecessary." "Then why hasn't the Council lifted it?" Elena asked, though she suspected she already knew the answer. "Because the Kythera were the galaxy's most successful merchants before this happened." Her science officer, Lieutenant Chun, interjected. "Half the trading routes in the spiral arm were controlled by Kythera corporations. A lot of species benefited when they disappeared from the market." Elena studied the dying ship on her viewscreen. Through the transparent aluminum, she could see movement. Desperate figures in environmental suits trying to patch hull breaches with whatever materials they could find. "Captain," her communications officer spoke again, his voice tense. "We're receiving a direct transmission from Admiral Thexvor of the Zolonian fleet. He's strongly advising us to leave immediately." Elena activated her command chair's comm system. "Admiral Thexvor, this is Captain Vasquez of the Terran vessel Mercy's Hand. We're responding to a distress call." The Admiral's translated voice crackled through the speakers, dripping with disdain. "Captain, you are addressing a quarantined vessel. Galactic law forbids any contact. Depart immediately or face sanctions against your entire species." "Admiral," Elena replied calmly, "are you willing to let thousands of sentient beings die for a quarantine that serves no medical purpose?" A long pause. "The Kythera chose their isolation when they became plague carriers. Their fate is sealed. Do not make it yours as well." Elena looked around her bridge. Her crew of 37 humans stared back at her, waiting. She thought of the council chambers she'd visited on diplomatic missions, filled with representatives who spoke eloquently about galactic unity and cooperation. None of those same voices had spoken up for the Kythera. "Dr. Park, how long do they have?" "Based on the atmospheric readings I'm detecting, maybe 6 hours before life support fails completely." "And our medical facilities?" "We can accommodate about 200 in our cargo bays if we reconfigure them. Not ideal, but survivable until we can get them to a proper facility." Elena activated ship-wide communications. "All hands, this is the captain. We're about to violate galactic quarantine protocols to render aid to the Kythera refugee vessel. Anyone who objects can file a formal protest, but we're doing this. Engineering, begin preparations to extend our docking tube. Medical, set up triage in Cargo Bay 2. "Ma'am," Lieutenant Chun said quietly, "the other council species will never forgive this. We could be looking at sanctions, trade embargoes, maybe even expulsion from galactic society." Elena smiled grimly. "Then we'll have something in common with the Kythera." 3 hours later, the Mercy's Hand was overcrowded with 847 Kythera refugees. The aliens were tall, graceful beings with iridescent skin that shifted colors with their emotions. Despite their desperate circumstances, they moved through the ship with quiet dignity, helping where they could, expressing gratitude in a dozen different ways. Elder Synthera, the senior Kythera aboard, approached Elena in the ship's medical bay. Her skin showed deep purples and blues, colors Elena's translator identified as profound gratitude mixed with sorrow. "Captain," the elder's voice was like wind through crystal. "Why? Your species gains nothing from this act. You risk much." Elena watched Dr. Park treating a young Kythera child, the alien skin shifting to bright, hopeful yellows under the human's gentle care. "Because it's the right thing to do," she said simply. "Because sometimes that's enough." Elder Synthera's skin blazed with gold wonder, the translator noted. "Perhaps," she said softly, "the galaxy was wrong about which species should be quarantined.